Attention, attention.
Next week, an evil space ruler seeks the services of a doctor.
Oh, it's gonna be a big night tonight.
Big night.
Hit that
Yeah.
curtain.
I put that in my post.
To Guitar Talk Universe.
All right, Quentin, you want to take it away?
G minor.
G
You'll
minor.
start the track.
I'm gonna. Oh, for God's sake!
I
Hey,
can't hear it.
yeah, you know what? The Bluetooth just dropped off. We're so professional, Rob.
We're professionals.
Yeah, talk amongst yourselves. Oh, that was not embarrassing at all.
We're playing Skinner.
No, we're not.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, neither are we playing Kiss. Yeah, these are all things we're not doing.
If you played 30 seconds more of that, you would have had to pay, you know.
Yeah.
Exactly, right? That's the problem. All right. Bluetooth's back. Here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, Rob Garland.
Ladies and gentlemen, Steve and Brad.
Quentin James, everybody.
Sometimes they end just like that.
Nice. Where's everybody getting the same footage? There we go. That's more gooder. It's like I understand things all of a sudden. Well, I know the first question that's going to be on everybody's lips is, how did Rob get that good when I was his teacher?
Ridiculous.
So I'll ask it before everybody else does. So there you go.
Well, I started off with a good teacher. I just like to point that out. And and then just became obsessed with the guitar, as I think we all are here, and just worked and worked at it, and continue to work at it. And believe me, there are days where it feels like there's a long way to go.
Well,
But,
I'll tell you, that Mel Bay book one's really paying off for you, man. You're pretty good.
I'm on page 57, so I've made it quite
What?
far into that.
Holy
I know.
man.
Yeah.
You've
Well,
been
you
doing
guys,
it-
you guys started ripping. I had to pull out the Bic lighter to try to impress the people in the
That
chat.
was good. I like
I
that.
got to
I
do
like
something. When I run out of ideas, I'll kick on the wall, and
Yep. Then when it's wah and Bic together, he's giving up.
Oh yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, that's it. So, okay, give us a quick little bit of history then. So, I mean, I was your teacher way back when in the 90s, very early 90s.
So so I'm from Margate, sleepy little seaside town in the southeast of England. And when I was 14, I started playing guitar, took lessons with Steve, and then played in bands for a while in England, played around London and that kind of stuff, and then eventually moved to the US, got married, and then I ended up in the Midwest of all places, in St. Louis, and then had a blues-based band that toured and played around the middle and the south, seeing some parts of America, as we call it. And then after that, moved to LA in 2010. I've been out here for quite a while, since then. And I joined the faculty at Musicians Institute, which was a big thrill because all the years of reading guitar magazines with GIT, all that kind of stuff. And just been, but through every step, I've been teaching and gigging, playing with different bands. I did a bunch of work for True Fire and a bunch of courses and books and that kind of stuff. So just constantly been had the guitar in my hands the whole time, pretty much.
So, and stylistically, I mean, predominantly what I see you doing is much more of a sort of fusion based
like
approach
that.
to stuff.
I definitely
What
like
got
that,
you into that? Who was the first?
So I would say, like, one of my all-time favorites when I was growing up was Gary Moore. But a lot of people in America, when you say Gary Moore, they think of the blues Gary Moore, and I mean the Coliseum 2, Corridors of Power Gary Moore, which is a different thing. Super
Absolutely,
Gary
it is.
Moore, right?
Yeah.
So that was like my big one, and obviously a lot of the same music that you were listening to, Frank Zappa, Steve Vai, all this kind of stuff. But in terms of the fusion stuff, I think it actually started when I heard Steve Lukather. Early on, probably in like the late 80s when I first heard Toto and would see live footage of him stretching out and doing these things where I was like, wait, that's not in the pentatonic, and hearing those sounds. And then Larry Carlton's early albums as well. And then I just really, what I figured out over time is that I love jazz harmony, but I don't get really excited about clean trad jazz guitar. I actually
quote unquote jazz.
Yeah, I actually prefer hearing saxophone players play because I feel like saxophone players play over jazz changes with more rock and roll attitude in a way, if that makes sense, right?
Yep.
So I love saxophone players, but I love the harmony of jazz. So if you put that with the energy and the tone of rock, you basically have fusion, right? And some people think that's a dirty word. I don't care. I like it. So then
they think fusion is a dirty word.
They do. Fusion is considered a dirty word in some areas.
Okay.
Not here though, so it's all good. But and then it was players like Alan Holdsworth, Jimmy Herring, McLaughlin, all these fusion guys, but I would say Lukather and Larry Carlton was the beginning of that journey.
Right. Right. And of the sort of contemporary players now, who do you sort of keep an eye on? Who are you sort of?
Nuno.
Oh yeah, I love Nuno, man. I love Nuno.
Yeah.
Nuno's fantastic. I mean, Guthrie is great. Guthrie Govan. He's fantastic. And the funny thing about Guthrie is, as I'm sure you know, like I was always reading his columns in Guitar Techniques back in the day. Which will come with the CD, what have you. But I will also say, as much as I love the fusion stuff, I've also always had this pop sensibility.
Yep.
Like I loved Crowded House as a kid, still do. And so I do a whole other thing where I sing and play songs as well. So it's kind of, it's those two worlds kind of mix. And I still love all the rock stuff that I loved growing up. Jeff Beck, Van Halen, Vi, all those guys. You know.
Oh God, Tom Quayle. Tom Quayle's he's kind of like Guthrie. His legato is just sick.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's just
he's a monster player. Yeah.
Oh, of course you know him. Man. Great.
There's only so many British people play that many notes. So meaning them, you know.
Well, there's only 12 notes of the whole damn scale. You think after 40 years I'd have learned them all by now, but
nope.
Another favorite who I actually worked with at MI for a while. Another favorite is Scott Henderson as well. I really like Scott.
Right.
Oh my God.
Yeah, particularly like tribal tech stuff. I like that as well.
Yeah, very much a guitar player's guitar player, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So tell us about your two bands then. You have Catatonic.
So I got a band called Catatonic that plays out here. We're very lucky in that we get to play at the Baked Potato quite regularly, which was actually quick story about the Baked Potato. So when I was at Christchurch University in Canterbury, I was getting board tapes from Japan that were recorded at the Baked Potato. Larry Carlton, Michael Landau, Lukather. I was getting them from Japan sent to Canterbury. And so when I finally went there, let alone playing there, but it was like a religious experience.
Yeah, you know? Like, oh, this is the actual baked potato.
Baked potato. So Catatonic is a all original, kind of like jazz funk fusion-y kind of band. And everybody in the band writes and brings in their own compositions, and so we play with that. And then the other band I have is a power trio with this incredible bassist called Robbie Pagliari that plays in a band called Ohm with Chris Poland from Megadeth.
Oh, okay.
And Robbie,
I didn't make that connection. That's very cool.
Robbie is a force of nature. He's incredible. And the drummer Chris Garcia is a Zappa alumni. He played with the Grandmothers of Invention, which is the original Mothers members. So the three of us do a bunch of my original stuff, which is much more kind of in that setting. It's more rock based, and there's vocals, and then we'll stretch out on some Cream and some different stuff as well. But we try to avoid the obvious ones. When we do a cover, it's usually something a little bit more left to center. You know. So,
is that Steve? Is there a leaf blowing around in your yard or something?
The dogs are protecting me from it. Yes. Yeah. Whatever it is, it could be a Coke can, right? Rolling down the gutter or something dangerous. Yeah.
Or there's probably a guy running down the street just took your catalytic converter. So they're like, we tried to tell you.
I took that myself. They can't steal it if I've already stolen it.
Porkies.
Steve, let me throw it back to you for a second, because how has your music taste changed and evolved since I was last hanging out with you a long time ago?
Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, the thing is, I'm still that old school punk rocker at heart. Mm-hmm. So I still very much love that original, late '70s punk and all the new wave that come off of that. So that has never gone away. And equally, like you, I love pop. I love a disgustingly sweet throwaway melody that you just can't resist. So I still listen to all that kind of 80s pop and everything. Love it. Just downloaded a bunch of Orchestral Maneuvers in the Dark stuff, actually. Yeah,
great band.
Yeah, right? I mean, hardly any guitar in there at all, but who cares? It's just great stuff. Still listening to the Zappa, still listening to the, Vi and Satch. One of my sort of biggest sort of changes in discovering somebody new, I guess you would say, was in the 2000s figuring out who Ron Thal was.
Oh yeah.
Bumblefoot.
Yeah.
And I had the pleasure of doing shows with him in LA in 08.
Cool.
Not in LA, in Vegas in 08.
Yeah.
And we've actually been good buddies ever since.
That's great.
And he is going to do an interview.
His brother plays on a bunch of my stuff. Jeff.
Nice.
Jeff plays on a bunch of my stuff.
Right.
It's funny
right.
because he just goes by Jeff. He doesn't go by like Snaggletooth or anything. He's
just
Jeff. And then you got Ron, who's Bumble.
Yeah.
That's awesome, because he's phenomenal.
Yeah. So we've hung out many times, and he's going to do an interview segment for our channel, actually. So I'm just in the process of writing all the questions and getting his approval, kind of thing, before we do it.
It's very surreal that he was like in Guns N' Roses for a minute, right? It was very strange.
8.5 years.
Yeah, well, a long minute.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and you know what? And I'm sure he won't mind me saying this. When we met in Vegas, we sat next to each other, and we were just warming up in the green room, and I do a lot of work with Nickelback.
Yeah.
And so he looked at me and he said, "So, what's it like working for an asshole?"
Oh,
And I just looked at him deadpan and said, "I know, you tell me." And then we swapped stories about
Right.
how nice Chad was and how nice Axel was and all this other stuff.
Yeah.
And, and how like their reputations were really kind of unfounded,
Yeah.
And, we've been buddies ever since,
great.
just like, but yeah, it was just that was his opening salvo as far as we'd spoken on the phone before, getting ready for the shows. But when we actually got into a face-to-face meeting, that was his first question.
That's amazing. That's great. And I suppose timing is everything too, because like if you were working with Axel in like '89, maybe not so good,
Yeah, right. And I mean, and obviously, I mean, his work on the Chinese Democracy album is phenomenal.
Oh, yeah.
And it's an album that just doesn't get the credit that it should. I mean, just overall.
Yeah.
I mean, forget all the hype and the folklore that goes with it, taking 10 years to record and all this other stuff. The end product is great. I love listening to it. So
I think it's maybe there was so much build up it could never live up to
Oh,
that
never,
way.
never.
So,
Yeah, there'd always be a reason to slag it, right, from that point of view. So, but there you go. Anyway, let me find another track. We'll do something else, and we'll go for a different flavor this time.
hey, I played with a flock of seagulls, you name-dropping bastards.
Rob actually just posted his interview with Steve Vai.
I did, yeah.
Yeah, if you, I think,
I got a chance to play with Steve at
yes, you did.
Of course you did.
House in Hollywood, and that was. And I said this in the interview, but he said. So it was up there. By the way, the loudest stage volume I've ever experienced, and I like playing loud, but it was,
Really? Okay.
It was ear-shatteringly loud, right? I mean,
Nice.
and I had plugs that you still couldn't hear. It was bonkers. But he goes, just start something, and as he said that, I had this like complete freeze up because I was a kid again with my LP of Flexible and Passion Warfare, and I was like, what just happened? And I had this deer in the headlights look, but it was a lot of fun.
And that was the like that sort of 24-hour charity event thing he was doing, right?
The big Mama Jamathon.
Yes,
Yeah, exactly.
yes.
And
right.
Nuno was there too, which
Yeah.
I'm really pleased about.
Yeah.
I love Nuno. Funny story. I probably shouldn't tell this story, but I saw Nuno at a NAMM show, and he was walking through NAMM with a big fur coat on because that's Nuno. He can do that. And I said to I was with a drummer of mine, was playing in a trio, and I said, you go that way, I go this way. We're going to head Nuno off because I have to have a conversation with him. So, again, I was like a little kid again. We go, this is at the NAMM show. We go up these various aisles. We corner him, and I go, Nuno, I'm not gonna hide it. I've had a massive man crush on you since I was a child. And he gave me a big hug, and we took photos.
Nice.
Well, it could have gone wrong, but it was.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But no, that's awesome. When I was doing those Vegas shows, it was a 2-day event, so set up on the first day, and a van pulls up, and Tracy Guns and LA Guns get out, and then after they've left the bus, another guy steps off of it, and I'm just standing out in the parking lot in 140 degrees, and I'm like, I know that guy, and as he walks past me, I look at him and it was a total fanboy moment.
Yeah.
Because as he got closer, I went, it is him. And I went, you're Jizzy Pearl.
Oh, cool.
And he goes,
yeah.
Yeah. I go, fuck, man. And I just totally gushed all over him, fucking fanboy, And the funny thing was, we then had this really cool conversation where he said, I've never had the experience. I said, like, I used to play like half a dozen of your tunes in cover bands in the UK. And he said, I've never had the experience. Tracy's told him about it, like the weird thing of walking into a bar and the band that's in the bar is playing one of your songs. And he said, I've never experienced it. And I said, well, you should have been in the UK in the early 90s then, because you would have experienced that a few times, you know. And we and he's now singing for Quiet Riot.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Although they are doing.
I always liked that. Both those albums, the first two Love Hate albums, they were good.
Well, and they're touring later this year.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so you'll be able to
that's-
catch him again. All right,
cool.
E minor. Would you
E
like to
minor.
start, Rob?
Sure.
Yeah, all right. Here we go.
Oh yeah! Look out! Quit fucking James!
It's about time. It's about time.
Thank you, Cleveland.
Awesome. That was great. You guys are awesome.
Oh man, likewise, dude. Fantastic stuff. Right. So
Here, hold on.
No, you were very, very good, Quentin. You really were.
Oh,
Even the chat said so.
yeah, they're all like, they're like, wow, not the wah pedal.
All right, so some people that play Gibson Les Pauls have criticized the headstock on your Tyler. I'm just gonna put the irony out for that, and at least his headstock stays
funny.
on.
People really. People really.
I love that headstock.
Yeah, people
always have.
Have a very strong reaction about. I don't really think about it, but people do have quite.
To me, it's this. It's a thumbs up.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, like the Tyler bit is the.
Yeah.
At least it's not a Mac Mall. Oh,
I don't even know what that is. Is it like a Glary but better?
dude, it's like you got a kit guitar and they didn't shape the. It's like a $6,000 Strat, and it's just like Henning Pauly and I get into it all the time because I'm always ragging him about the Mac Mall headstock.
Oh, okay. I got you.
Yeah. I don't know. You okay, Q? Anyway, speaking of your lovely Tyler guitar, this is one of the companies that you have endorsements with, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
so
because otherwise, in order to afford one, I'd be down at the docks on a Friday night.
Hey, $20 is
Selling
$20.
my wares 10 cents at a time.
How do you think I got my Schecter?
Yes, it took a really long time to get it, but I became friends with Rich, that runs the company. He's a super guy. Actually, sadly, James Tyler himself passed away last year, but I became good friends with Rich and I've been down there a lot, and it was really cool because I literally got to go down there and pick out the wood for this.
Nice.
And then they had a really smart idea, and I think more companies should do this. They have a part of the factory that has pick guards loaded with their various pickups, and they're interchangeable. So
that's
pull
cool.
one out,
right.
Put it in, test them, go, well, I like that one more than I like that, and just
right. So you can audition them.
So
yeah.
You audition them, which is really a smart idea, I think.
Yeah,
Clever.
Brilliant.
So that's how I ended up with the Tyler.
By the way, Steve, we got a $4.99 super chat from Mr. Boner Jams.
Did we really?
Yeah.
Nice.
He says, I wanted to send a big thanks to Curt for, I don't know what this, sending in the expired tube of Valtrex. What is?
Yeah, it's probably nothing good.
Herpes medication.
Probably. I don't know.
Rob, we'll go ahead and apologize for the people in the chat. We can't control them.
Hey,
although we do knowingly know them and associate with them on a regular basis.
I'll answer John's question. Yes, it's older.
Right.
Yes. I can't help you with those other lube questions, but I can give you that one. So.
Well, and he wants to know if he can borrow it and check it out, make sure it's good enough.
He'll send it back to you, and
he promises he will send it back.
He won't lose your address.
I trust him, but the answer is in no way whatsoever.
Yes, absolutely.
John's.
Thanks for asking.
I know John very well, so yeah, don't.
John's a sir guy, so
yeah. Now, do I remember that you had an exotic?
Yeah.
Before
actually,
Tyler?
I had two exotics actually. Those were my main guitars for a long time, and I was kind of in that vintage Strat mindset for a long time.
Yep.
And I had one of the very first ones they ever made.
Right.
Which was number 14, I think. And then here's a funny thing. I went, and then many years later, I went back to have another one made, a blue one, and the serial number was 666.
Oh.
Nice.
But it didn't help. I couldn't play.
No,
fast
didn't make any
or
difference.
It didn't make any difference.
Yeah.
No, there was like a faint aroma of sulfur, but it still didn't work. So yeah.
Well, so I had a brief endorsement deal with Minerick.
Yeah.
And they sent me two of their Lotus, which is like their single cut. that were clearly not regular production models because they had one-piece quilt maple tops and that sort of thing. And the first one they sent me was serial number 11, and then the second one was number 33.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know if I told y'all, but we played with a flock of seagulls. John DeShane gave us $10 Canadian. I don't know what the exchange rate is. It's probably
That's
like
about $6.
$1.50 American. Killer playing Rob. Your phrasing is super inspiring.
Thank you, John. That's very nice of you, mate. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, John's a good guy. For all the joking, he's a good guy.
John, Rob is playing through the Fractal FM3 or the 9?
Just
the 3?
Because I'm in an apartment, so I have to go digital for all this stuff. But I as I said to Steve earlier, for gigs and stuff, I'm a Valve tube.
Somebody asked what Wagner is that behind you?
Oh, that's just a cab, but I have the 20th anniversary Shiva. So that's
nice.
I got it made in purple. I'm a little obsessed with purple, so that's the matching cab to that.
Yeah, nice. And then the other two companies that you currently have endorsements with is Moody Leathers for your straps.
Oh, that's this one. Yeah, Moody. Yeah. It's not this side. It's this side. It's been a long day. Moody leather straps, and then Curt Mangan strings.
Right.
And all that. But my main amp at the moment for gigging out is actually a Fuchs. Have you know that?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
It's just the little one. It's the Blackjack 21, and I turn it, pretty much all the way up at shows. It's a fantastic amp. So, yeah.
Well, I mean, it's like the sort of like the low wattage thing is a cool thing to do now.
Yeah.
But it's been around forever.
It has.
It really
has, yeah.
I mean, I remember playing in a punk rock tribute band back in Margate, and my main gigging rig for playing that classic punk rock was a PV Classic 20 combo, dimed through a 4x12.
Yeah.
And it was just bang on for that.
Well, and you hear all these, when you read about some of these greatest guitar tones, like, like, for example, Larry Carlton stuff on Steely Dan records, and it's all like a tiny little deluxe or something, It's like, it's not a big amp,
Well, the tubes, when Steve Lukather was doing a lot of their stuff in the studio, they were running 10-watt Pierce combos.
Oh, wow.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was their studio stuff.
I used to go and see Steve play in a band called Patrick Moore and the Stargazers. How about that?
Yeah.
Oh, dear Lord.
Yeah, PMSG.
Yeah, PMSG. Brilliant.
Yeah. When I went back to England, like 8-9 years ago, somebody came to the reunion and said, I still have my kid's pedal car that is completely and utterly covered with your band stickers.
Oh, wow.
That's cool.
Yeah, they plastered the entire thing. So, yeah. But yeah, every now and then people will send me a photo going, I just saw this in a phone box in Ashford. There'll be some sun-faded PMSG sticker,
Nice, yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Those Americans have no idea what a phone box is, but we're guessing it's a phone booth.
Yeah.
You've made the right connection there.
Yeah, but in English, so correct.
Yeah.
Bloody colonial hicks. God.
Yes, Curt. I played in a band in the '90s. I used to paint just my nails on my left hand. It didn't make me play like Nuno at all.
No. What color did you do them?
Black, of course.
Of course.
Okay. Yeah. It should have worked then.
And I wore spandex under my shorts. I didn't wear knee pads. All right, stop it. It was the '90s. Bite me.
You also wore plaid shirts. Yeah.
It was the grunge era. Okay.
Yeah.
So. But that was back. We didn't have in-ear monitors back then. It was nice and loud on stage and just moving air. Fucking. I had 2 412 cabs. Those Boogie Road Ready cabs.
Oh yeah.
I'm sorry. What'd you say? Now you know why I have a blown out lower back.
Well, see, here's the thing. I mean, here's another name I can drop. So you remember me running Kitty Hawk stuff, right, Rob?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah. So do you remember those 4x12s I had that were made of solid Paduke?
I mean, I'm sure I would have seen them, but
well, so I don't know if Quentin knows this story, but they were actually custom made. They made 8 of them, 4 of them for Gary Moore. And 4 of them for Key Marcello of Europe.
Oh wow! Yeah.
And I ended up with Key Marcellos.
Nice.
and they all on the bottom they had 4-key and the Roy brothers signing them kind of thing. But yeah, those things were stupidly heavy.
Oh my God!
And they also could, if you wound them up, they could blow the speaker jack out. So they were like, if you play at such a volume that it spits the jack out, you just drill a 1-inch hole like somewhere near the jack thing just to let it breathe.
Bent.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, I ended up just cutting like an inch corner off the backing board, just so that it had somewhere to let air out other than the speaker jack. You know.
Right.
So yeah.
Hey, you want to try one more track, and then I think I'm out for the night.
We'll do one more. And do people in the chat know who Curt Mangan is?
The string maker guy?
Yeah. Do you know where he came from, though? Does Rob know where he came from?
The circus. No, that's not true. Yeah.
I was going to say his mom, but
Yeah, well, there's probably. He's the guy that set up all the sort of like Ernie Ball slinky machines way back when.
I knew he worked.
Oh, wow.
I knew he worked for. I couldn't remember if it was Diodario or Ernie Ball, but yeah, I knew
Yeah, it was Ernie Ball. Yeah.
One of them.
All right, one more track. Let's find something a little more upbeat.
well, Robert, it's good having you on. I hope everything,
Yeah, man. No, thank you very much. Yes, this is really fun.
It's surprising how the backing tracks, and because somebody asked earlier, how do y'all not have any latency? It just works. It works. It
is surprising in a good way. Yeah, that's cool.
Well, and I should point out, actually, if he's still in the chat, Ryan, who goes under the handle of OU812, I think I was telling you about him. He was the guy who really kind of nailed it down as to what worked to get as little latency as possible and get the right. So basically, it's like if you have a PC, like the way to go is get a Rodecaster Pro, and your problems are solved, kind of thing. If you're running a Mac, some Macs do not like the Rodecaster. My MacBook did not like it at all, and it sounded like thin and it was really sad because I mean the whole thing about the Rodecaster is the preamps that are in it are awesome, and it sounded like cheap DI'd nonsense. But yeah, I ended up with a Gigcaster from Boss, and it likes the Macs okay, and it's pretty cool. Anyway, here we go. Old school heavy metal in E minor. How's that?
John DeSaint said, "Shut up, Steve, and let Rob play."
Yeah, I read it and I also ignored it
Good for you.
because it's John.
It's very cheeky. It's very cheeky.
He plays those crappy Sir guitars with the ugly headstock.
Hang on, let me cue it up. You want to take it away, Q? It's E minor. It's your thing. Uh-oh, Q.
Oh, yeah!
Ha! Gotcha.
I had no idea.
Neither did I really. So there we go. Marvelous. Well, thank you so much, Rob. Like,
Oh man, so much fun. So much fun.
yeah. What was that?
I officially suck. My wah didn't even help on that one. I was trying to pull stuff out of my ass.
And it didn't happen?
Yeah, let's not do that one again.
Okay, then.
Can we go back to the Pink Floyd one in E minor, please?
Well,
That's a joke. I know. Shut up. That was it. Yeah.
Anyway, right, you know what? I know I said this to you before, but watching what you've done with your career, you know, where you've ended up, you know, playing in LA, playing the baked potato, that kind of, and to know that I had a small part in that journey, it's been a real sort of warm and fuzzy, you know, dad moment kind of thing, like, you know, proud papa. But yeah, it's awesome. It's all you. I didn't do much.
I appreciate that, Steve. I really do. And you know, you say that, but you know, I was super excited to come to my lessons, and you were a cool guy, and you had great music, and you know, and you were enthusiastic about it. So
I hope everybody's listening to this.
Yeah.
I better get my camera.
You can Venmo me later, but yeah, it's no. Seriously though, it was it was great, and it was a really good start. So, and thank you for the kind words. I appreciate it.
No.
Okay. My band playing with the flock of seagulls is not that impressive. Okay, I get it. Did you have the flock of seagulls hair thing happening? No. And this was this is like 92 or something. So it wasn't the same guitar player. And it was a club in Cincinnati, a warehouse, just two different stages. We never knew what the other band was going to be. And I was like, does that drum head say flock of seagulls? I'm like, oh, for fuck's sake. You really? Oh, God.
That's great.
Well, again, thanks, Rob. It's been wonderful having you on. And,
yeah, nice to meet you.
Yeah, you too.
Yeah.
And you sounded great. You really did. It was.
I know he's too hard on himself because all the meanies in the chat pick on him. That's why. All right. Okay, I'm gonna call it quits at this point. We're gonna end the stream, and thanks for everybody who's been in the chat. Again, thanks to Rob, thanks to Q, thanks to me, thanks to everybody. Thanks to Sandra for creating the intro video.
Thanks to Boner Jams and John DeShane for the super
chat.
for
the dosh, for the spondulix. I can say shit like that, and Rob understands. You don't.
I do. Yeah.
I barely understand about every third word that you guys say. Your accents are like, I don't know, dude.
Imagine if we hadn't been out of the home country for this long, though. You'd be really struggling then.
Yeah, your LA accent's not really,
All righty. Well, all right. Let's cue up the end of this. Again, thank you. And we'll talk again real soon.